Ana, Nissan Bulavanaka, and warm Pacific greetings to you all, and kia ora. Thank you for joining us today. Before I introduce my co-host, I'm just gonna say a word of prayer, and if it's all right, I'll say it in English. Um, thank you. Please bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we'd like to thank you for this beautiful day, and we'd like to thank you for watching over our country as we went through this COVID-19 and this lockdown. We thank you for your many blessings that you have given us, and thank you for your support. And we ask you to continue to support us in this time of need and watch over us as we have our hui today. In the name of Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. Thank you. So, kia ora ana everyone again. My name is Kramer Hoeflich. I am the current chair for the I Lead committee, and today with me is my beautiful host, Paula Tesoriero, the Human Rights Commissioner. So I'll hand it over to her to give a brief introduction around herself.
Ngā mihi nui, Kramer. It's not often I get introduced like that, so my gosh, I'm feeling very flattered. Kia ora koutou, ko Paula Tesoriero, tōku ingoa, Bulavanaka, namaste, talo palava, and welcome, and thank you for having us. We are both really excited about this kōrero. So my role, for people who are not familiar with it, is a statutory role set out under the Human Rights Act. And my responsibility is to protect and promote our rights as disabled New Zealanders. And so I do that in a range of ways, from general advocacy, like talking with ministers and members of parliament, making submissions to select committees, and producing reports and things like that to really shine the light on issues affecting us in New Zealand. So I saw a lot in those first 4 weeks during lockdown, and I know you did, and I was in touch with Rachel and Sonia and others through Yes Disability Resource Centre. And, you know, it was a pretty tough time for many in our community, and lots to learn from, and lots of positive things also to try and keep. So I'm really looking forward to tonight and hearing from you, our awesome panelists, and Kramer and I will do our best to MC our way through this evening and ask you lots of questions, and just really invite you to share your experiences as we go through this evening. And it's really nice to see you all again, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. Back to you, Kramer.
Thank you so much for that, Paula. I thought it was very important to actually let Paula go first and introduce herself before I explain more about I Lead. So I Lead is a youth collective of young people who make sure that other youth with disability have their voice heard at all tables, whether it's government to sporting to housing to whatever issue is important for we, the young people. We make sure that to get the young people to have their say and make sure that our voices are heard. So that is the main purpose of I Lead. And one of the reasons for having this is to hear the stories of our young people during lockdown, just to hear it from them firsthand. Before we go on into today's Zoom meeting, I'd like to introduce our 2 sign interpreters from the NZSL. We got Stephanie, who's currently signing for us at the moment. And if you do need to pin one of our sign interpreters, feel free to do that on I believe on the top right-hand corner. Yeah. And our second interpreter is Melody, who will come in after Stephanie. So thank you both ladies for the amazing work you do. We really need you in these times of need as well. Thank you. Yeah. And of course, a big welcome to everyone that is joining us as well. I would like to hand it over to, we're going to do a round of introductions, but, you know, I'll hand it to Paula to bring it over to our young people to introduce themselves. Yeah.
All right, so I might start just with the screen image to me in terms of order, but could you please introduce yourself, Josh?
Oh, I knew I was gonna go first. Hi guys, my name is Joshua Fumono. I'm the digital coordinator for Yes Disability Resource Center. I pretty much play the same role for iLead. So I help manage a lot of the online presence that we have here. So anything to do with social media, websites, that's me. I also I also fabricate a lot of our publications, so stuff like posters, flyers, all the newsletters that you see going out. That's usually me. Um, and yeah, I'm a member of the elite committee.
Kia ora, thanks, Josh. Over to you, Kathleen.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Okay, so my name's Kathleen, and I'm also one of the committee members for iLead. I'm more of a supporter of everything, you know. I do bits and bobs and everything like that, but I'm more of the personal experiences. But but the iLead is amazing, and it's helped us through everything. So if you need anything about iLead, ask me. Okay.
Thanks, Kathleen. Tamara.
Kia ora, I'm Tamara Grant. I am the founder of Xabilities. We help create an environment where people can think, move, and feel without fear of judgment. I'm also part of the iLead committee and the disabled parents committee with Yes, as I am a mother of a nearly 3-year-old. I have autism and dyslexia and mental health challenges, so I am an ambassador of the invisible disability side of things.
Kia ora, thanks, Tamara. Now, who else have we got? Kim, are you
We've also, yep.
introduce
I was going to say we also got Kim. I don't know if she can speak at the moment. Kim, if you can hear us, feel free to type in your response, because I know you. She can hear everything. We're set type in introduction and put it in the chat so everyone could see. And oh, Kim, invite. Yeah, Kim, if you're able to, are you able to introduce yourself, or do you want to do that later through the chats? Yeah, I guess shall we do that later through the chats? Yeah.
Okay, whenever you're ready, Kim. Have we got Lavinia?
Yeah, we have to give our apologies. A few of our members couldn't actually attend today, as you know, during the lockdown, a lot of family members had some sad outcomes where funeral occurred, but they couldn't attend. Yeah, so some of our members had to attend the funeral yesterday and today as well, so they do send their apologies.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, so that means I think we have had introductions from all of our panelists. All right, so thank you again, panelists, and for those who are watching. Kramer, do you want to kick off with the first question?
Yes, I would definitely kick that off, but before I go into that, Kim just actually sent a little message. She did have a little trouble hearing us, but Kim is one of our panel members, and she actually has recently got a job at ACC. Go Kim, congratulations! And she was the former disability rep at MIT for the students there, so she has a lot of experience and educational background around within tertiary education to high school, and yeah, on after that. She also completed her diploma in business management, Josh? I think. Yeah, so yeah, thanks. That's Kim. But just a quick reminder, overview of COVID-19. Just to remind people, when lockdown started, it was the 25th of March, where we moved into alert level 2 around the 13th of May. Then level 1 was the 8th of June. So yeah. So now we're just going to ask our panelists just a couple of questions. I'll ask the first question, and Paula can go off into the second one. So the first question is, how would you describe the lockdown? Shall we go in the same order as last time? We went Josh first, Katie, and then Tamara, if that's okay with everyone. Yeah. So how would you describe the lockdown?
It went in stages pretty much, for me. So probably the first and second week was really relaxing. It was really good to be at home. Admittedly, I got to play a lot more video games. And it was a nice mix. You know, when my emails pinged, I got on, did the job, and then came back, played a few more games. But then after around midweek 2, it started getting really boring. And then probably around midweek 2 was when we actually went out, me and my flatmate, to actually go and do grocery shopping for the first time after Liverpool during the lockdown. And it was really weird having to stand there. And I just knew from looking around that I wouldn't be able to do what do what I would usually do if I was to go by myself to the shops, just because there would be a lot more steps in the process of me actually going to the shops, getting what I need to, and then coming back out. And so lucky I went with my flatmate that first time. And it did end up being pretty good, because he himself has a sort of health condition that means he ends up being a vector or amplifier of any virus, and so we had to keep ourselves super safe. And so from the very beginning, the moment it went into lockdown, he was real military about it. But apart from that, yeah, it was pretty much casual for me. Pretty much just a usual day, usual off day, just chilling, playing games. But yeah, after a while, it did start to get tiresome and boring, and I did want to come back and actually communicate with other people.
Nice, thank you for that, Josh. I will quickly go over to Katie.
So my experience was that when lockdown started, my grandma actually passed away. We weren't allowed to do a funeral because, you know, it was the beginning of lockdown, so we had to get her cremated. But last weekend we managed to do a little funeral for her, but we had, you know, all of quarantine to have to wait for and everything. But it was nice to send her off anyway. Next thing, it's probably the same thing about Josh, what Josh was saying before about the shopping. I wasn't allowed to go in with my partner, even though we do our shopping together because we're living in the same house and everything. So it was only one person per household or something. But I have to have someone with me for support. Like, I can't do anything on my own, especially food shopping, because I get the wrong things anyway, and I end up buying tons of chocolate and chips, and they get mad. But that was pretty hard to get through, and waiting in line, standing for hours in line even. I couldn't do that. Sometimes I would have to take my chair, my wheelchair, to sit in the line, and I was just like, okay, well, we can't lug that around and a trolley with just one person, you know. It kind of didn't make sense. But I did like the whole staying home and keep yourself at home and you're safe. Literally, safe bubble. And I have to admit this, I've kind of gotten into the habit of, like, I don't want to leave my bubble anymore. So, so it's kind of hard to get back to normal living and everything as soon as this is all over. But it doesn't look like it's going to be over anytime soon, to be honest. but it is hard. It is a bit tough and everything, but we're getting through it, I guess.
Kramer, can I ask Kathleen a couple of follow-up questions?
Of course, yeah.
Kathleen, firstly, I'm really sorry about your grandma. That's awful in any time, but particularly when you can't grieve and things in the usual way. So I'm really sorry to hear that. The experience you had about going shopping and things was something that I heard from a lot of people, and I was just interested in your thoughts, or your comments rather, on how people reacted to your need for a person with you and things. Were shop assistants sort of okay with that? Were people in queues okay, or did you find that you had a bit of gripe?
It was, yeah, it was like you got a dirty look. Like, why are you got another person when everyone else is all by themselves? And it was just like, okay, so there was this one time that we had waited in line. We got to the security guard right before the door, and then we're both like, oh yeah, we're going in together. And then he's like, are you both from the same household? And I was like, yes we are, because I need him. And then they're like, no, only one of you. So eventually I had to go in on my own, and Leo had to go back to the car. And it's just like, so it kind of didn't make any sense to me then. But now that it's level 1, it's all kind of back to normal. So we don't have to worry about that. But that was pretty stressful, especially when you've just spent all this time waiting in line just to do your weekly food shopping. If like, I was even thinking, like, what if I show him my total mobility card to show him that I have arthritis, disability and everything? Nah, he didn't even want to. I should have thought of it at the time, but I didn't. But it's kind of, because I have I have arthritis, so you can't really see that I have a disability as much. And it's quite tough because people just don't believe you. But yeah, it was pretty stressful also on my partner and our relationship as well, because he was getting frustrated and I was getting frustrated, and we were just meh. So yeah, it kind of all, I don't know, if maybe the security guard had like been like, okay, well, do you have a disability? Is there a reason why you have to have him? And I was just like, okay, yes, and I explained, but they still didn't take it. So I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I think it's something we're going to work on for next time. Hey, if there's next time. But yeah, thank you for sharing that, Kathleen.
No worries.
Yeah, I had the complete opposite effect, because since I'm on a wheelchair, I spend more time kind of friendly arguing with the security guard, because I felt so bad when I was waiting in line. They come grab me, go, no, you move right up into the front, you can just go in. But I felt real bad because everyone else is waiting in line, so I spend more time trying to deny him, like, nah, I don't want to go in because, others are waiting. But yeah, I actually kind of felt bad, just apologizing to everyone because I cut in line and I was allowed to take someone else in with me because, yeah. But that was me in shopping, but yeah.
It's like, I'll come with you shopping next time then.
Interesting, hey, that visible and invisible disability, something that, I saw a lot of during COVID. But anyway, it's not about what I saw or anything from you guys. So maybe Tamara.
Hi. Through the time of lockdown, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot less stressful. I have when I get too stressed, my body collapses and sometimes I can't walk or talk. And through this time, I had no back pain, no leg pains, and my voice was always clear, and I didn't have that pressure of being normal and having to try and communicate things to other people with my disabilities and trying to get them to understand. So it was a lot less stressful being by myself and with my son and working and everything, than being out in public. And it's been very hard since it's transferred over back to level 1, because going back to that okay, I've got to start working on my language, my filters and everything like that. And my language, I mean, just like making sure that I go slowly and have a good flow and everything like that. So it's been quite stressful. And the supermarkets, they were because they're like fine now because it's like everything's normal. But like when in the lockdown, that was just horrible. It was near impossible. I broke down every time I came home from the supermarket. And when I first went in, I didn't understand why the lines were happening because and so I went to the front and I was just to like tap on the shoulder. I had baby in the car and I was just like just to ask what was happening. So when I get into the line, I don't freak out and I know the process and everything like that, and know what's going to happen when I go inside. So I can get myself prepared. And then the lady just turned around and she's like, "Are you living under a rock?" Blah, blah, blah. And she just started going at me. And I was just like, "I'm sorry, I have autism. Like, I just need someone to explain to me." Then once I said that, she was like, "Oh, okay." But then that took me a lot to just say that. So there's definitely a problem with the emotional intelligence of people. And if it gets training that everyone needs in any public service.
Yeah. I'm sorry you experienced that, Tamara, and yeah, it's not a great situation. I think I can't see. Like Kim, did you want to answer?
Before we go to Kim, I just wanted to ask Tamara a question, if that's all right, Paula.
Yeah, and then just remind me to come back to
go into the comments for Kim May. Yeah.
Offered some comments. Yeah, go for it.
Nice. Because yeah, Tamara, because I know you are a young mum. Like, you know, having a disability is tough enough, but also raising a young little one as well. I heard from like they struggled to actually keep their young ones actually entertained through this lockdown because they found it like a very hard. How was that experience for you?
It was pretty easy. Like it's kind of like you're at a beach, and I live in Orewa, so there's beach down the road. Everything's near, and it's just and it was kind of just I had that mentality on you know, every day we've got to do something. We're going to get outside, and like having to wake myself up. I also got really into posting videos on Facebook to show, trying to like help out the mood on social media because everyone's scrolling through trying to find something. So I was posting videos being like, yeah, pardon me, I'm doing this today and it's going to be awesome. So by also like putting in the public with, it's quite confusing, but like with my son and like being like, we just built a water slide in the backyard, we did this, and just full on just really staying in the present. Because if I thought about the future, I had people staying here and they were thinking, oh, I might not have a job, oh, I might not be doing this. I was like, well, just like, let's go and do this now. And I was very, because of my mental health, and I've always got to stay on top of that because I am a parent, I already have that mentality where like, no, you got to push through. So the lockdown, like for me and with my son, was just, it was really easy and really nice because I've had that training throughout my life to always push through.
Thank you so much for that, Tamara. I really found that inspirational as well because I did see a few of those clips over the lockdown, and you were giving friendly advice to other mothers and parents out there. Yeah, that was very great, amazing work you did throughout the lockdown. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thanks, Tamara. And Kim says, I found lockdown actually really good. I work, so I was able to work from home and still keep myself busy. I didn't actually need to go anywhere because my parents do all my shopping, so they were the ones who did it for me. Yeah, so thank you for sharing that, Kim.
Yeah, I don't know how Kim managed that while she was at home, because even I had to work throughout the lockdown, where at first I was excited, like, yay, I get to work from home, holiday staycation. But then 2 weeks into it, I kind of found like home wasn't a place to relax anymore. It was just constantly work, whoever I turned, and yeah, it kind of like put me off the whole being online all the time. So yeah. So I think I needed what Tamara was actually doing, staying in the moment and actually engaging outside, and yeah.
All right.
I see that Kim's back on.
Oh, great. So maybe moving on to our next question then, team. Was anybody studying during lockdown? And if so, what were your experiences? Was anyone studying at all?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes,
Wait, who's got their mic on and got music playing in the background?
I think Kim wants to add something.
Oh.
Hey, Kim. Please don't be confused if it says Kramer Hoeflich on her. So yeah, that's Kim. There you go.
Hi, Kim.
Gimme.
I think she's only just gotten home, so she's just setting up.
Oh, okay.
So can you repeat the question again, Paula?
So the question was just maybe raise your hand if anyone was studying during lockdown.
I was working.
Okay, so maybe Tamara and Kramer, what did you experience in terms of study then during lockdown? How was that?
For me personally, I'm studying. It's just like it was when you are actually at uni, because most of the stuff on uni is you can actually watch your class through online now. So, and having to work full time and study at the same time. So I'm online and then just one-on-one tutoring with my tutors at uni. So yeah, I was able to do it through that way, just kind of online Zoom stuff. So it still was very interactive for me. So I really found it a lot more easier than actually physically going in, because physically going in, you got to wake up a lot more earlier, go here and there, a lot of runs. So it took out a lot of energy out of me. But this one, being able to actually do it at home, I was a lot more faster and more efficient. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Yeah. With me, I didn't like I said, kind of studied because as a way to entertain myself, and also with my high functioning mind, I need a way to outlet that so I don't just burst. So I did a lot of study on the human connection, and because I was, and also how to increase the efficiency and in the human connection and brain, because that's something that we all have in common, no matter what disability, no matter who you are. We all have that emotional human connection that we live off. It's a basic need, and so I created a device that you can tap into your subconscious, and it tells you what your heart rate's doing, and it tells you your emotional status, so it can help you understand yourself more and also communicate your feelings more, and also so the mental health awareness goes up, and also it can tell you about your body functions, so if cholesterol or heart disease or if anything's playing up in your body, the device in your ear can tell you like you need to go to a doctor and stuff like that. So I did a lot of study towards that project to keep my mind busy.
Wow. And did you say that you've created this device, or?
Well, it's I haven't physically created it, but I've done all the research for it, and all is left is the engineering and coding of it, and then it will be done.
Nice. Watch this space. All right, Kramer, your turn for a question.
Oh, my turn. Okay, I'm gonna go with. Was there anything you liked about the lockdown? Yeah, because for me, what I actually really enjoyed about the lockdown was it actually gave the chance for the earth to actually heal. Because we went through a long phase of where those fires were happening and the heat was very high, and it didn't too well, and it actually needed time to. So that's one thing I actually enjoyed about the lockdown, was actually seeing the difference it actually made, where we weren't very much polluting the earth. And yeah, but another thing I actually enjoyed, it actually gave me a lot of time to myself as well, where I got to practice my cooking a little, where healthy eating, like, didn't actually miss fast food after the lockdown, because, gotten so used to eating them greens. So yeah, that's one thing I actually liked about it. It actually got me to try new things that I never actually didn't have time before to actually try. Yeah, not that I couldn't, just didn't have the time. Yeah, but that's what I enjoyed. Yeah. So we go to Josh.
This is me, eh? Um, for me, what did I like? Obviously, it was all the free time that I got. Definitely. Instead of like commuting here all the way here to Albany for like 45 minutes and then commuting all the way back, there was like an extra hour and a half that I had for games and stuff. But then I see at the same time, also it also gave me time to put a few more reps in the workout, um, which was good. So yeah, just a lot more time in general, just to get a little fitter, but then also enjoy myself a little more. Yeah.
Nice.
That's Josh. I wish I also had a lot of time to go to the gym as well, but I got too friendly with my friends here at home. Like, kind of became best friends throughout that lockdown. So yeah, I'm trying to stay away from that friend at the moment. Yeah. Katie?
Okay, so honestly, what I liked about the lockdown was that that was the biggest reason for me to stay home. you know, I really did like staying home in the warm, especially during winter and everything. Because with me, my arthritis acts up during the cold, so I had to try and keep myself warm as possible and keep my house as warm as possible. And so, but we've had a bit of complications here because our my aircon machine, that's the heater for the whole entire house, has been broken since the beginning of lockdown. And since lockdown, they're not allowed to come out and do inspections because of the lockdown. So I haven't had a heater for the whole of the epidemic, really. So that's been a big struggle. So I've had to spend my own money, of course, to get jumpers, blankets, pillows, everything like that to try and keep me warm. So it's like, everything was literally put on a halt. But other than that, staying at home was basically the best thing that I could have done, because my arthritis was getting and is active again. So it is a lot easier for me to get in pain. So I was quite sore before the pandemic. So it gave me a chance to basically recoup, which was the best thing ever. And I continually had my rheumatology appointments, my GP appointments, everything like that. That was still all normal, but we had to do it on the phone. We couldn't go to my doctor and I couldn't tell her, look, I've got a swollen knee. They're like, oh, okay, well, you have a swollen knee. We need to get you in. Like, but I can't. So, but now that it's all over, I've got my GP appointment actually at the end of this week. So it'll be the first time I get to see her through the whole epidemic. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much for that, Katie.
No worries.
Yeah. Hope the visit at the GP goes well.
Yeah.
Over to
I'm
you
hoping.
tomorrow.
Yeah. So the favorite thing about lockdown is probably that I learned how strong I was through it, and that you go through constant everyday struggles throughout my life, and then you get to lockdown, and I was totally prepared for the end of the world. like my brain can go into conspiracies, it can go into any angle because it just keeps going, and then so I was just prepared. I felt strong. I was happy I was like by myself, and it was just learn that strength about myself that now I can carry forth into the normal days.
Wow,
Oh,
really neat to hear. Yeah. Cool.
yeah. As you can see, we got Kim down there. She's joined us.
Hey, Kim. Oh, Kim has. Shall I read that out, Kim? Or, oh no, you're back. Do you want me to read it out?
Please, Paula.
Okay. Yep. So Kim says, I go out a lot at night with things on, and I really enjoyed not having to go anywhere. I also enjoyed not having to wake up early because I didn't have to travel into work. Yeah. There are a couple of things I sort of enjoyed about the lockdown. It was a really busy time, and I sort of set myself up in our garage because we had the kids doing their schooling, obviously at home, like everyone else, and so they sort of took over the house, and I set myself up in the garage so that I could, do what I needed to do. And it was really busy, and I kind of felt, I guess, really privileged in a way to, be able to get some things done for our community and, get some things sorted. And I think, there were a couple of really nice family things that I enjoyed, which was just being able to see my little boy, who is 8, and I have 2 teenage stepchildren, Nick, who is 14, and Elizabeth, who's 16. And just being able to pop in during the day to, make a coffee and things and say hello to them and connect. And then, my little boy said to me, oh, Mama, I really, really enjoy lockdown because it means you're home every night for dinner. And that made me reflect on things. And I just enjoyed that time of connection and really enjoyed, like everyone else, we did those little walks around the block and things, and as a family, and just connected and, played some games at night and kind of got back to some basics. And I really, really valued that time. And even though it was, I personally found those 4 weeks probably 4 of the most stressful weeks in the role, because you haven't got the normal things available to you to get stuff done. And so, but I also, had some nice experiences. So I think it might be my turn for the next question, which is, we're really interested in what you did to stay connected. Tamara, you talked about that, sort of that fundamental kind of human need, I suppose, to be connected, and lots of people talked about that. And I'm really interested in your guys' experience of that. How did you stay in touch? And actually, before I throw that to you, Josh, I just wanted to say that I loved seeing the videos that you guys were doing. Lots of people invited me into their different groups and chats and things, and I tried to keep up. And there were some really neat things that the disability community just got up and running. And, all power to us. I really loved seeing that. So, yeah, Josh, how did you stay in touch with everyone?
Me myself, like you'll be the first to see me in the front of the group that says that digitizing the way we connect, using technology to amplify our voices is really the way for a lot of us to go. And I'm a huge advocate for that kind of approach. I stay connected pretty much over social media. It was really daunting. It was a really daunting task actually creating those videos that you talked about, Paula, because I had the whole sort of team on my shoulders at that point, and so I was just like, I hope I don't see something that reflects badly on the rest of you know, my peers and stuff. But you know, but then at the same time, it was really enjoyable to do them. And it kind of set a standard for how we now communicate with other young people with disabilities across the country and the wider disability community. Um, Other ways I connected through gaming. I actually connected a lot more with my family. So my cousins and stuff, we would be online every day, catching up. You know, what did our partners do? You know, what are we what are we on next? And just talking, talking and keeping in contact every day. I think that was the most connected we've ever been in our adult lives. Because yeah, before that we were all busy leading our own paths into our own careers and all that stuff. So yeah, it was really cool just to have that aspect of connecting both digitally and using technology. It was great.
Yeah, I think we all became sort of semi Zoom professionals, and I had to get a bit sharper at making videos at home. Normally Jack sort of, who some of you met before, you know, does them for me. So I had to sort of, you know, do them myself and things. And yeah, I must admit, I personally have found lots of Zoom meetings, you know, all day, every day. I've found them a bit more exhausting than face-to-face meetings. And apparently they've done some research and things that shows that there's a bunch of reasons why that's the case. But I was wondering why I was feeling just so exhausted. And I think part of it was just that constant interaction with the screen. But yeah, some benefits like you say as well, Josh, and hopefully we can keep using those to stay connected, because I think there's some wonderful things that started. Katie, what about you? How did you stay in touch with everyone?
I just had to, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of cut a lot of people out after my grandma passed because I needed space. But eventually I did let some of my friends in. Usually it was Nia, Grace, Jamie, Josh, you know. We couldn't have visitors, so this was the first time I've ever used Zoom. I'd never heard of it before, so the epidemic started, everybody's on Zooms. I'm like, okay, what is this? So that was new. The next thing, I think I was like calling and messaging, like Facebook messaging and texting. I think that was the main way that I got through to everyone. And plus I have too many minutes on my phone, so I just rated everyone's I just called everyone and be like, hey, what are you doing? But I think it is a good thing to try and keep in touch. There are some of my friends that have kind of gotten into the background a little bit and have kind of been forgotten, and I'm not forgetting them. I'm going to call them and I'm going to text them and I'm going to be like, are you okay? But yeah, other than that, it was Zoom meetings, calls, texts, anything really. It was video chats, like group video chats on Messenger as well with Nia and Grace, and so hey, it's like the three of us are in the same room technically, and my partner, oh my god, there's so much noise. It's just like, yeah, it's like they're here. But yeah, but that was my way of getting communication and everything.
Nice. How about you, Tamara?
Well, my family stayed on Zoom and like meetings through Zoom, and we all did an Easter hunt together. So we all hid the Easter eggs around the house. We all had at least 2 people so in the house. So we got the other person hide the Easter eggs, and then I'll get my son out and I'll watch him find all this Easter eggs. So we're really big on family holidays. So we still had a big family holidays. We all got the nice platters out and went to the supermarkets and made sure we had the nice food and all had lunch together, and we had family dinners together. We had graduations as well. My sister graduated, and so from uni, so we put on a little Zoom graduation for her. And then so my family stayed really well connected for that, and so that was cool. And I also through social media with friends, and having you know, video calls with each other, and, you know, like having a glass of wine once all our kids are asleep, and having a conversation, catching up and stuff. So I pretty much did everything normal, but on Zoom. And then but also I connected in another way as well, where I joined up in a lot of autistic Facebook pages, and I've never done that before, but it was really helpful, because it was everyone was giving each other's tips, and then there's like lots of memes that you can just laugh at about like your own disability, kind of just like, oh yeah, no one gets that. And I was like, but I do. And it was just that was a nice way of connecting to myself, and like it's being like, oh, these other people. So yeah, that's how I.
Wow, that's yeah, I'm really intrigued that last comment about sort of connecting with other parts of the disability community that maybe people haven't before. Did anyone else do that?
Yeah, no, not really. I think the most I did was the Thursday Facebook Live videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, my connection with the rest of the disability community was actually really limited.
Yeah. Maybe that's something, a tip for next time, you know, to sort of, particularly if you found it helpful, Tamara, just sort of thinking about, oh, you know, who else can I connect with that might have tips and things. And lovely family celebrations, Tamara. That sounds really neat.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Katie, did you say something?
Yeah, can I, sorry, I'm kind of going off what Tamara was saying, how she connected with a group of Facebook. So I have a family history of going over to America to go to a Kids with Arthritis conference. And so I've met a lot of girls and boys that were my age at the time, and all going through the same thing, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. So I've been keeping in contact with them over there in America lately.
Oh.
And right now it looks bad. Like all of my girls are getting hip replacements, knee joint replacements, you know, everything is going downhill over there, and it's kind of scary. Like, oh, okay, but like we're still here, we're fine over here ish. You know, but that's I've just communicated with them over there just to keep touch base and everything. But that's also another way, if you have any friends overseas, maybe check up on them.
I think that's a great idea. I've tried to stay in touch with lots of people internationally as well, and just it's kind of interesting to get their perspective sometimes on what's happening at this time when, you know, the slogan of kind of we're all in this together, and we are really around the world. It's been really quite, you know, I've learned a lot by just connecting with what's happening overseas.
Yeah, it's like we're truly in this all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of overseas, Paula, one of our iLead members, he was actually in the States at the time after he finished he plays for the Wheel Breakers, the basketball team.
Oh.
Yeah, he was actually over there at the time, traveling for a bit, doing a little bit of basketball sightings, and he had to be evacuated from the States back here before, like, it was just in the state where it was getting really bad there. So yeah, he actually had to fly from there back here, and then self-quarantine for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Gosh. Oh wow. Kim, I'm just throwing that question to you about how you stayed in touch with people during the lockdown. Any tips and tricks? Oh, here we go. Sorry, Kim, I've missed your message. Do you want me to read it out for you? Yep, cool. Okay. So Kim says, a big one for me was my church. I still had church online, connecting with each other. Also had online church young adults group on Zoom. I had a few Skype chats with my friends and they were really good. We also caught up as a committee and really supported each other and made sure we were still okay. Yeah, that's really nice. just made me think, Kim, I attended an online sort of interfaith session that Vicky Terrell, who some of you might know, she's a disabled pastor, and she ran a Zoom with disabled people who were sort of connected to different churches, and she invited me along, and it was just nice to go and actually, a bit like you, Tamara, sort of connecting with part of the community I hadn't necessarily thought to, but because it was so easy via Zoom, and you know, it was just something I could do on a Sunday morning, sort of hear people's experiences. It was really nice, and there seemed to be a really nice connection in the group. So I can see how your church group might have done that. So that's really neat. I'm just wondering, my lovely co-chair, should we take a couple of the questions that we've had submitted, or do you want to keep going with our questions that you and I have up our sleeve?
We can definitely keep going, but question-wise, I was thinking, why don't we turn that into like another separate video where, you know, how the iLead have been putting out videos on Thursdays? Why don't we do like a little collab with you, Paula, to actually create a second video to follow up to answering these questions, where we can easily just put it up online as like a
nice.
briefly 3, 4, 5 minute video?
Yeah, okay. Well,
Like how we do the Thursday ones.
Nice. Well, I'll throw to you then for the next question for our panelists.
Oh, yes, the next question. Now I want to talk about once we got down to level 2 and things started opening up, you know what I mean? So yeah, what was the first fast food place you guys went to?
That is so not on our list.
I know, but I want to know. Yeah,
Hey,
how
just
long did you
straight
stay in
away,
line?
I will give you my answer. It's very easy. Like, I don't know. One of the things that went through my mind the moment I hit level 4 was, where am I gonna get my burgers? Where we're gonna get the snacks, you know? It's not gaming without some burgers, without some snacks, without some chips. And so yeah, that was the first thing. That was the first thing I went to when as soon as I hit level 2. I looked at my flatmate. He looked over at me, and I'm like, "Oos, we're getting Wendy's." So then,
How
from
long
the
did you
very
stay
beginning-
in line for?
Oh, nah, no lines, mate. No
Oh.
lines. Uber Eats. It was
Oh,
Uber Eats all the way.
how long did you
Yeah.
wait for it then?
Oh no! Oh, the thankful thing was it was very calculated, eh? So we knew KFC would be packed. We knew McDonald's packed. And so the only options were Wendy's or Burger King, just because we knew the demand there wasn't that high. And so we opted for Wendy's. It came at pretty much the same time it would usually come, and we were pretty happy by within half an hour.
Nice.
Mine was KFC. I just wanted some chicken.
Colonel, eh?
So like mine's just around the corner because I live in Rewa, so like it's just there. So I was like, KFC. So we ended up cheating. We got it delivered too. But because I don't want to wait in line because you see the cars coming out of the drive-through and they loop around the building, and it's just like, I'm not waiting in that.
Oh.
So but yeah, and then next choice was Burger Fuel, but yeah, good luck trying to get into that because I saw lines going out those doors every day. Like,
One of my funniest memories of, we must have just come into, what would it have been, level 2, I guess, and I had gone out for a bike ride, and which was not so sensible in the end, because it turned out, I don't know if you can see, I snapped my finger, broke my finger. But anyway, the point of telling you that story was when I was out, I couldn't stop laughing. There was about, I kid you not, every second car was a Domino's pizza car taking pizza around the suburb that I live in, and it was just like this little tour of Domino's cars. So it was made me laugh, and I thought, well, no, that's good. Good to, you know, see some things kind of getting back to normal. Right, we're going to move on to another question, Mr. Co-Chair.
I just love food, okay?
So really interested in, oh, hang on a minute. Kim did say, oh, Uber Eats, LJ's fish, fried salmon and chips.
See, she went healthy.
Hard out craved fish. Nice work. That sounds much better and a bit healthier than KFC. Just saying. So I'm really interested, you know, what, from your perspective, you know, young disabled leaders who, you know, got iLead up and running, done an awesome job in bringing that voice of young disabled people to decision makers. What do you think could be done? There's sort of two parts to this question. What do you think could be done better if we're ever in this situation again? And secondly, what was good that you want to hold on to? Maybe Josh.
All right. So we'll start with what was good. I think the amount of connectivity we had, you know, and the I guess what would you call it? The amount of connectivity we had, in a time where connecting physically was just not allowed. It was great. I think as a community of young disabled leaders, we all played a really big part in not only keeping ourselves safe, but keeping the rest of the team safe, the rest of our community safe by staying home, but at the same time keeping us mentally, emotionally, and socially active and responsive and connected. I thought that was like a solid part due to the way that we started working. And you know, to that, I think all of the iLead team for that. That was great. Things that could be improved. That whole weirdness with the PPE gear. I don't know. Like for me, it wasn't as much of a big issue, but I guess for like for people that actually needed it, that was something that I thought seemed necessary, but was deemed unnecessary, which was, yeah, it was really weird for me. And so I think just a little more sort of responsiveness around that, and getting to those who need it most, getting support for those who need it most when they need it, not, you know, like 4 weeks later. But yeah, that's my take on pretty much the lockdown and that question.
Thanks, Josh. It's a great answer and lots of insight in there. Might come back to some of those themes, but in the meantime, Katie, what are your thoughts on those questions?
Okay, so hang on. So I was just rereading what Joshy was saying. I'm not too sure what he means by PPE gear.
What was it? Personal or protective? I forgot what it was. Yeah, equipment. So stuff to keep you safe while you're working with other people. So like masks and gloves and all of that stuff.
Oh, okay. Yes. I got you. Okay. So the good thing about that was, you know, the masks and everything. So when I was working at Great South Vets. So I was a veterinary clinic. So we were still open during level 1, level 2, and of level 3. So I had to actually quit in the middle of level 2 because it was just getting so physical. But we had the gear. We had the face masks, we had the mask to go over, we had the big gown on and everything like that. And that was great, but man, do you sweat in the thing, eh? I was just like, I'm a puddle now, and it's nasty. But it ended up working out fine. There was a low stock of masks, you know, had to reuse, take it home, reuse it. But then I found out that they only last for 10 minutes. Like one mask lasts for 10 minutes and then you have to replace it. And it's just like, oh, well, I didn't know that. I've been using the same mask for like the last 4 days, you know? But other than that, I think I did used to wear a mask when I went out to go food shopping, of course. But now I don't need to anymore, really, now do we? But I still see a couple people walking around with masks on. What was the other part of the question?
Anything good you saw that you would want to hold on to now, you know, want to see continue?
Well, I think that through this whole, you know, lockdown and everything, iLead has kind of actually bounced onto Facebook a lot more. So we're getting promotion, and there's a lot more promotion for basically not just iLead, but for everyone. So I think that we should hold on to that and keep our connections as much as we can. So yeah, I think that's about the only good thing that I would want to keep is all the communication that we've all built up through this pandemic, because we've all been scared. We've all had the same worry. We've gone through the same things, like waiting in line for food shopping and everything like that. But it's just nice to see that other people are going through the same thing. It's not just you. So that's something that I would hold on to. I would definitely hold on to my connections.
Nice, thanks.
Yeah. Sorry, Paula, is it alright if I answer this question as well? Because I'm a bit back and forward on this question as well, because a lot of good things did come from it as well, but also there's a lot of things that we should like the whole connectivity. Like, yes, that was really great. It's good to see it really happening, but at the same time, now that we're back into level 1, we can't. Like, we should stay connected, but at the same time not lose the momentum that we within the disability community have been pushing for you know, disability to actually get out there, because that's one thing that I feel that has kind of slowly gone back into the dark ages, where now we're so used to modern day, like online, we're not really physically being out there like we used to. So I reckon it's important to pick that back up as well, because connectivity is good, but also face-to-face is still a lot more better. We need to be out there and increasing the presence. Another thing I did like was the increased support that we got within the disability community, like, you know, not only around benefit, but also food and all the other areas we were really supported in. But then again, that just goes to show that like even before the lockdown, there was a current need for all this stuff to actually be implemented. So the lockdown does shine a light on those areas we actually need to help focus on and, you know, develop more for the disability community, so we can thrive to a better community instead of going back to how it was. Because I think we all have learned a lot from this lockdown and have gained many experiences, and we can just take this as the next evolution for disability, you know, the next step forward. Yeah,
I completely agree, Kramer. I think I sort of describe it as, you know, we started from behind, and then COVID came along, and it really did, as you say, shine the light on all the gaps and inequities that exist. And, you know, I think we have to be very strong in our advocacy together around, we can't, you know, some band-aids were put over those gaps to get things through in a time of crisis, and that was great that response was there. But you can't just band-aid over things for the long term. And I think now absolutely is the time to be really calling for change in those big areas, so that not just so that we don't find ourselves in this situation again, but actually it's exposed some, really big gaps I think that we all knew existed, but maybe other New Zealanders didn't. And maybe the government weren't quite so aware of it all. Tamara, you've got... And really
already got the question.
yeah, go for it.
Also, with invisible disabilities, well, at least I don't know about arthritis, but with autism and dyslexia and all these and mental health challenges, like the maximum you can get is $60 a week, and like it's like 69 something, blah blah blah. But that's the maximum you can get. Counseling a week is like $100 and something, and so they told me, oh, you have to just go every 2 weeks, and I was just like, okay. And then it was like, and then with like, so that's something I just wanted, because you brought up work and income and how they're supporting, but like I can't even get right glasses to help my autism, the early ones, because they're like, oh no, they just sunglasses or whatever. They have multiple different excuses, but like they actually helps me communicate more and stops my anxieties and my sensory overloads and everything. But so there's a huge issue with this zero awareness and also they're putting neon lights all through work and income, and I can't even walk in there without crying. So it's just there's just nothing right now for that. That's something I had to bring up before I exploded.
No, thanks, Tamara. That's really, really helpful. And I think I was about to launch into a whole lot of things about kind of welfare reform and things, but I won't. But just want to acknowledge that I think you raise a really important point.
And same time, Paula, I know we here, like the panelists, because remember I'm still a member of iLead as well. Like here, we have been telling you we've been connected, but at the same time, we've actually heard from other young people within the disability community, even the Pacific community, because like we were engaged, but at the same time, others weren't so lucky to actually have the actual equipment or technology to actually get online, where they had no access to Wi-Fi, where school was the only point of contact for them to actually get online. And of course, during the whole lockdown, families, their bills. So a lot of the disabled young people were actually worried about like contributing to the actual bill for the family. So they try to make it as easy as possible. So there's a lot of that as well, not only the positive stuff we're saying we got to experience, but there's also that side of the lockdown as well. It's
really interesting that the whole they call it this digital divide, and it was a real issue in our community, but also older New Zealanders too, who just couldn't access information for the reasons you say, Kramer. And just before I forget, I just wanted to touch on that point you made, Kramer, about kind of getting out and about again and that presence of disability. And I completely agree with you in terms of, we've got to be seen and heard and things. I guess the challenge is to also think though about how we do use these online ways to increase the presence of disability as well. Particularly some of the experiences of, we've talked a lot this evening about the sort of invisible nature of disability, and I guess for those that might feel even more comfortable doing this kind of thing than doing things in person, it's a real mix. But I agree with you, in whatever form, whatever way possible, we do have to see disability, right? We've got to
One of the amazing things I actually saw throughout the lockdown was, because as you said, we had to get used to the whole online presence and being seen in that way. One thing it actually has shown is that the employment area, that disabled people how hard they are actually working, and like, you know, the actual benefits to actually having them employed. You see that even though they were working from home during this lockdown, the employees actually got to see how not only hard they work, but how efficiently they
Yeah.
are. Yeah, so that's one thing I loved about like the connected through online presence and actually seeing what we can do in an employment area. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, the co-host, you and I have been hogging too much time. So
Oh, yeah, sorry.
no, my fault too. Tamara, I think we're up to you around what you think, you know, next time round. What can New Zealand do better? And secondly, what do you want to hold on to?
So I like that how much Kramer brought it up at the beginning, how the earth really benefited sorry, my language is starting to go, benefited from this, and also, but and I like the just the environmental factor of emotionally, that it felt a lot less stressful, and that like, because you didn't have to worry about getting home at a certain time. You're there with your family, and if you got the opportunity to embrace that, and like seeing all the families going for walks and everything, it was really beautiful. And and also there's like so many birds around now. I'm in Orewa, and you can just hear them constantly. So it's really beautiful environmentally, emotionally, and physically what's happened to my suburb. And but something I would change would be the emotional intelligence. That is, there's no training, there's no learning in school, out of school, university, wherever you go, there's no training for it. But X Abilities have just came up with a workshop for it. So if you need
it. I'd love to connect with you on that, learn about it. It would be, yeah.
I do one-on-one consultations, and then also group ones. We're just getting it. We're getting the final touches, but so far it's been 100% successful. So it's been very exciting.
Go you.
Yeah, I think we all need it.
Both you and Kramer made those points about the environment, and I think I'll probably get this stat or figure wrong, but I remember reading at some point that like Wellington, you know, that just the pollution along Langton Quay, which is, for those of you who know Wellington, you know, it's the kind of main drag from Parliament into the city, and I can't even remember the figure, but pollution was down by what seemed to me quite an extraordinary amount. And you think, wow, gosh, again, you know, how do we, I guess how do we go back to, or not back to, how do we find a way of being that incorporates all these great things about just, a bit more calmness, these things better for the environment, that sense of balance and families spending time together. How do we, you know, get things going in the economy, so that our country can prosper again, but not completely lose these things? And at that, I guess that's how we choose to live, right? But it's an interesting challenge for people who set policies and, you know, make decisions, that I think we need to think about. Tamara, can I just hear from Kim, and I'll come back to you. Now I'm just checking. Have you typed anything, Kim, or do you want to? Aha, okay. You happy for me to read it, Kim? Cool. I would agree with Josh and Kathleen around the connectivity and its importance. I feel like there was a great opportunity for people to help other people, not only in the community, but also some businesses changing their products to create PPE gear and sanitizers. I like how in all, most of us were looking out for each other. Yeah, that's a really nice sentiment, Kim. I agree. I think I guess we saw, didn't we, that whole, you know, desire for everyone to be kind to each other, and you know, people looking out for their neighbours and things. But it's also contrasted by those not so nice experiences where people were judgmental about, you know, some of the experiences, Tamara, you and Katie, you had in shopping queues. And I saw, you know, I remember quite vividly, I had 2 occasions lining up in supermarket queues, and there were obviously different days, but on both occasions, there were older, you know, an older person who, in one case, the man could barely walk, and in another case, it was a lady who was using a walker. And I just thought, right, I'm going to be bolshy and just encourage them to go to the front of the line, you know. And so I did. And honestly, the people that just gave me the stares or said, oh, we're all queuing. And I thought, just stop. Just, you know, it's cold. And, you know, this person is probably here because they don't have anyone else to do their shopping, you know. And so I saw some things that weren't nice. But I also, yeah, I agree with you. There was a really nice sentiment of all looking after each other. Mr. Co-host, how are we going for time?
I believe, what's the time right now? 6:30 we're meant to end. We're close to.
You guys got 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Wow. If I could add, we got a little comment from our good friend Brian Coffey. He said he loves the discussion going on, but he especially enjoyed the part about food, so it made him hungry. So, yeah, see, food always makes everyone smile and brings joy.
No more questions about food. Hey, maybe we should do the concluding part of our conversation by just inviting panelists to, you know, give us any kind of lasting thoughts, observations, anything you've heard tonight that, you know, you want to amplify. And then Kramer and I will take a couple of minutes to wrap up. I'll make sure he sticks to time. Tamara, I'm changing up the order. Tamara.
Yay. Okay, I have some opinions. I'll try and keep it short. I know. But so I think a lot, and you know, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. be like, I solved the women's crisis. I know how they can change the system, and then I like have my whiteboard in the back, and I write all the answers down. And then, like, when I was a little kid, I'd do it to my mum, and after a while she's like, just sleep, child. But like, so I'm that type of person. But so something that can help with that environmental crisis you were talking about, and also mental health and any big crisis that we go through, it's like, is emotional intelligence. Because if we promoted young kids from the age where they start transitioning into intermediate and learning about themselves and those emotions, then they will be going into future careers that support their life path and what they're doing and what they want to be. So they're not going into a 9-to-5 jobs or going for that midlife crisis or anything like that, because they've lived their life knowing who they are first before they put like money or anything else before that. And they still can, but then they still got that opportunity now of awareness. And so like, if we did that, then we'll have younger children going into these careers environmentally and everything, because they stuck with their passions and they knew themselves. And then we'll have those people out there like changing, getting the plastic out of the water, making different things out of them. You know, we'll have those passionate people out there, like all of us here, we're all passionate about our jobs, or else we wouldn't be here. And this is a rare society kind of thing. And then and that passion brought us here, and that's what the emotional intelligence to children and even to adults can bring them to too. So I think we talk about all these band-aids that we're putting on things. I'm right now going for the All Council, and I said the same. I'll say it to anywhere I go. You put band-aids over everything, and we need to get to that core, or else every year, every agenda is going to be the same stuff said differently, and we need to get to that core. And I believe that this is one of the core things that can solve most of those problems. So that's my speech.
Nice. Awesome way to finish, Tamara. I'm changing up the order here. Kim, would you be ready to make any lasting comments?
We'll see you typed anything down.
How do I follow? Oh, follow there. Kim, should I give you a
give
chance
Kim some time
finish
to type up.
typing? Yeah, that was a bit unfair. Sorry, Kim. I'll give you some time to finish typing and go to Katie.
Oh God. So I'm sorry, I have to ask again. What was the question again? Because I got lost so far in Tamara.
Just anything you want to end with, you know, like go out of style.
Well, okay, the one thing I did like about one of the minor things that I did like when I would have to take my little cousins for a walk because, you know, after lockdown everybody gets all restless and running around and making havoc, so I ended up taking them for a walk. I think it was pretty awesome how us as New Zealand came up with the whole teddy bears in the windows.
Oh, yeah.
And so that literally was the ticket for the kids. Like, look, there's the teddy bear. Oh, find the next one. You go to the next house. Oh, I go to the next. That's how I got them up the hill. There was no other way of getting them up the hill other than find the teddy bear.
No.
But that was awesome. The fact that we came up with that ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't think America or Australia has done all that. This is us. It just shows you how real diverse and how really connected we really are as like a community and everything. And so I think that's pretty awesome. But it would be awesome if we could all get back in touch with our community again after this pandemic.
Absolutely. Josh, your last words.
I think leading on from what Kathleen said, just the ingenuity that New Zealand has, you know, and especially the ingenuity of the disability community and the young guys in the community as well. It's really awesome to see how much we're willing to do off of our own backs just to make everybody else feel a lot more connected and a lot a lot better. And it really just speaks to the way we are as New Zealanders. And I think if anything, if there was anything that we could take away from the pandemic and the subsequent lockdown, it would be that. And I think that's one of the things that we should continue to push forward, especially with iLead and all the awesome sort of, I guess, and all the awesome
Indies delivery here.
Yeah.
I know. All the awesome sort of, what do you call it, playground stuff that we have.
Put it on
mute. Like just the opportunities that we have with coming out of level 2. There's some awesome opportunity to change, you know, some systemic stuff, and actually amplify the voices of disability and youth with disabilities. And it's a great time to actually start playing around and seeing what works, what doesn't.
Nice, thanks, Josh. Kim. Oh. Have you had a chance to? Here we go. Yeah, nice. Kim says, I don't have much to, Kim. Oh, yeah. I don't have much to add, but I feel pretty proud of what we've achieved as a country and how we've all worked together, which is a lovely, nice kind of ending sentiment. I'm really keen, Kramer, for you to have the last word, so I might just make a couple of concluding comments and then hand over to you to end our kōrero. So from my perspective, just, you know, a really, really big thank you to all of you for tonight. I'm being asked a lot, and I have been for the last couple of months, you know, different interviews, different discussions, you know, what have things been like for our community? And, you know, having been closely connected in with the community from, you know, from the start of this, I hope that I've been able to, try to do that as best I can. But conversations like tonight just really help strengthen the advocacy that I can do for all of us. And I just want to acknowledge that, this work that we all do is hard. And sometimes I think, it can feel, we have a big responsibility on our shoulders when particularly at a time like a pandemic, when we're really trying to push things forward for our community and we are affected ourselves and we, live with the nature of our particular impairment. And I think that, many others reported to me during lockdown that was hard. And, I found it hard on days as well. So just want to acknowledge that and remind people to look after yourselves and keep reaching out and connecting with each other. It's really, really important. And I want to thank, I'm one of iLead's biggest fans. I know there are many other fans. I love what you guys do. And, the future of disability advocacy and rights in New Zealand is in good hands when I look at how awesome you are and the many young disabled fabulous people we have around New Zealand. So thank you. I just want to thank also Jack from my office who helped bring this evening together. Thank you, Jack. I've really enjoyed this and got a lot from it and learned, continue to learn from you guys. So thank you. And of course, I'll thank my lovely co-host, Kramer. And I'll hand over to you, my friend, to conclude us for the evening.
Thank you, Paula. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, nice. Just double checking. Yeah, thank you for the beautiful words, Paula. Well said. And yeah, thank you everyone for all the amazing comments that you guys put through and all your feedbacks that our panelists have given. Yeah, one thing that really stuck with me was kind of what Katie and Tamara said around the invisible disability, where they went to the shops and all that. They weren't really dealt with the proper way. So for me would be kind of around that, just need more awareness around, disability 101, how to identify it and how best to approach it. Yeah. I don't know if I'm lagging or
Yeah,
if I'm cut out.
you're lagging a small bit there, brother.
You're super laggy on my end.
Yeah, sorry about that. It keeps coming and going. I think my brother's awake and he started playing Fortnite.
That will be it. Yes, that will do it.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. It'll be just around the awareness around disability. What Tamara and Katie brought up, just around that, how to identify it and work with us and not shove us to the corner. Yeah.
It's not like we can put a little tag on us or something.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, what I said earlier about not losing the momentum and taking, one step forward and two steps backward. I need to, increase the online participation at the same time as physical participation, because we can't lose what we've already started. And, it's important to actually have a voice. And we at iLead, we're actually really out there advocating for those with disability, like those who are in high school from the ages of 16, 17, up towards 28, when you're like really a young adult moving on to, bigger things. So we will continue to serve our community and help those in the need. Yeah. If you ever did want to find more information around iLead, feel free to hit us up on our Facebook or at Yes Disability. Yeah. As for the questions that were answered, we will do a video for it this Thursday.
Am I doing that?
Yeah. And I'll just, if you like, yeah, we'll discuss that after. But yeah. And I would just want to thank our two NZSL interpreters, Stephanie and Melody, thank you for your time, and thank you for the hard work that you've done over this last almost hour and a half, I think. Yeah, thank you so much. And Jack, I know you're in the background. Much love. Thank you for your hard work. And yeah, to my beautiful host, Paula, thank you. It's been a pleasure hosting this with you. I really enjoyed it.
One night.
Hopefully we can do this. Hopefully we can do this again. And I'll be sure to come down to Wellington for that haircut.
Nice.
Hey, don't forget me. I want a haircut too.
I'll bring Katie along with me.
I need one. I got so much. Anyway, sorry.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Take care.
Will do. Bye.
Kagi there.
Kaki too.
Bye.
It's tomorrow.